Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know what it is. Your boy Professor Pippen's back in this bitch on I Trade the Asian, trying to get active, trying to get live. Yes, it is. It is that time. It is that time for the weekend analysis. We coming a little bit later than normal. The market is already up and open. It ain't booming and busting just yet, but I feel like it's coming. Now, seeing that last week within the market price action gave out some gas, finally breaking out of higher time frame structures, finally showing us some true direction on what and where we feel like price action really wants to go. Most of the well, I can't say most of them because AU went bullish, UJ and all the rest of them kind of went bearish, gold went bullish, but the things that I wanted to see definitely came to the table and came to the charts for me. So I definitely have some insight and some significance and some what's the word I'm looking for? I got some analysis that I can potentially, help put out on the table, help show some other people how to identify, how to see, and potentially, yeah, it can help us get active, get active this week. As always, starting off with that AU. For the most part, we still identifying bullish on the daily time frame chart. Well, we're pretty much identifying bullish simply because, when you bring price action closer together like this right here, this right here, and as we can see, if you follow price action from way back and over here, the last really significant uh lower low, lower high, or I can't do that because all right, but the last for the most part structure breaks on AU way back in what is that, February? We got the high to low, lower high, lower low. Then we had a significant break to the top. We had the breaker structure of price action right over here. So now we're looking at price action in current time right up in here. Let me put that right there so we can kind of see, get this shit out the way. But for the most part, price action broke to the top side as far as being bullish on a daily time frame. So when we go in and we try to figure out why is higher time frame slash daily, weekly, 4 hour charts important, well, we look for price action on the lower time frame to become in line with the trend of what we've seen on the higher time frame, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly. And as of right now, this right down here, the supportive slash demand area is what caused price action the big boot up to the top side, breaking structure looking left, and then produce this structural high on a daily chart. And just looking at price action from last week and the week before, we push, pull back, new push. What we should have been looking for from this push that just happened last week was for it to break this high. And seeing as how price action did not break that high, then potentially what we can be expecting for market open this week is for price action to give us some more retracement. Now, on Friday's price action daily candle close, it did kind of already start that retracement phase. Now, how far to the downside is price action potentially going to be pulling back to is what we could be keying into or be preparing for this week. So when you bring that analysis back to the chart, and we kind of already, or I already went through and definitely broke down all the charts I wanted to look at. I'm just not getting a video to you guys right now, just because I've been busy, bro. I've been busy, bro. I had stuff to do, right? But ultimately, identifying bullish on the daily time frame. What in the bro? I don't even use McAfee, bro. Come up off my computer right quick. You got me looking broke out here. We protected, baby. We strap up daily. But for the most part, we got that daily low to the daily high. Where the move started from, we do have somewhat of an area of imbalance down here on the downside. Support, demand, all identified right down here. But at this point in time, price action is way up here. So all this down here is not as important. It is important as price action starts to come back down towards that level. But for right now, for this week, for we can look for the next few days, the stuff that I'm going to outline and point out is what's going to be currently important. And then as the week progresses, then we will then see whether we broke to the top side and made new higher highs, or if we came back down to retest potential demand from down here, or feel imbalance or retest support. But ultimately, on the daily time frame, we were bullish from the high to the or from the low to the high with the retracement phase here. We got the breaker structure of the 4 hour or the previous 4 hour lower high right over here with this price action. So now we got big gas from last week's price action pushing to the top side. So coming into this week, things that we should be looking for. So on the 4 hour time frame, we'll open that chart up a little bit because price action started back in over here, making higher highs and higher lows. So we pushed up here, created a high, pulled back, respected the low looking left, pushed up here, didn't necessarily break the high from right over here. We did get a retracement last week, and then we finally got up out of that thing to the top side. The thing we have to look for and consider now is which level are we effectively calling the previous higher low that pushes to the high. For me, I'm picking this one right here because when you go down to the next time frame, the time frames below the 4 hour, you do see somewhat of a structure break right up in this little price action here with this big ass blue candle here, this gray candle, this blue candle, then the next blue candle there. So right here is where I have my 4 hour support drawn in at. Potentially, you could take it from down here as well, which increases your 4 hour range from this low all the way to the high. But pretty much it still pretty much comes out as the same thing in the end. You just have to pay attention to what would happen to it when price action gets back to this area, if it decides to break. So for the most part, what we got right here is the low to the low to the high, somewhat of a high low area that pushed us and gave it a new high. So ultimately for me, the 4 hourly range is from this low here all the way up into that high there. And that's pretty much all we really look for on the 4 hour time frame, besides other confluences as far as what price action can pull back to. So when we bump down to the hourly, we can see a little bit more as far as why we have this area identified as a 4 hour support. Now, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky because theoretically, right here, we don't have a breaker structure on the hourly time frame. We don't have price action like we got right here, push up, pull back, push up. We don't really have that right here. We just got to push in a consolidation and then continue to go up here. The reason I selected this as a 4 hourly support is because we kind of consolidated here and then got up out of there. So in the back of my mind, I'm knowing slash looking for, hey, pay attention once price action gets here because we could get squirrely. We could leak right through that level and then come all the way back down to where we should have had that 4 hour support identified. But at this point in time, to keep down the confusion, some 4 hour low to the 4 hour high. That's the range we're currently trading in, and we should be looking for the best bullish scenario, trying to get back in line with that daily trend. But for the most part, on AU, 4 hourly ranges from here to there. As we look at price action right along the top here, we see price action still creating higher highs and higher lows for the most part, somewhat consolidative once you get back up into this point. And if let's see, this little area right up in here is where price action has now pushed below. Potentially, we could be waiting for the rest of this retracement phase to come back deeper into this 4 hour support, or if we see it break below this little 4 hour support level here, we could be looking for break and retest trades to come back into that imbalance level or the structure that was most recently broken. I like this area as a structure most recently broken versus this one because we did have that push pull back and then push right up in here. Like I said, we only got to push, consolidate, and then push. So um coming out for this week, we're looking to see how far the price action pull back to find support to then potentially go back bullish, or do we just have a bearish week all week and then just slowly but surely correctively come down, making lower lows and lower highs, breaking through all this, come down here into imbalance, from with them keys, and then see if we can potentially get back up out of there. But at this point, what I'm looking at and paying attention to right now, let's get the notes back up here, see what we got. As we were breaking this down, I was about to say analyzing, but that's not a word. As we were analyzing this, analyzing this chart, see, I thought I had something else. One thing I noticed was, we're making higher highs and higher lows right up in here. We got to support. If price action does break below this little blue line where we kind of got price action to stall out here before, then we are expecting it to come back down into this somewhat of a 4 hour support area. If we do not get held up from this blue line or this 4 hour support here, then we are looking to expecting price action to come back and retest the structure most recently broken. And then if we do continue to break through there, then we got plenty of areas to the downside of where we could potentially find the support within the market to potentially go back bullish. So for the most part, that's what we should be looking for and waiting for. Back from the notes that I dropped earlier today, we are looking for deep retracements to start off the week due to price action not breaking through daily resistance, which is right up here. So the daily resistance that didn't get broken was right way back and over here. Price action pushed up last week and did not break above that high. So generally, when I'm looking at charts and I see this type of price action with price pushing up here, creating that high, then create that significant pullback price action, we come up here. There's a reason price action didn't break this high. There's a reason we didn't go big back go big bullish and create that new higher. And for me, what that kind of tells me is that price action is trying to, fake people out, get them to come back and grab some liquidity, grab more orders, grab more, whatever it wants to, whatever name you want to tag to it. I just call it price action. Um, and then, then get the funnel with them keys and then potentially go back to the top side to now break that new high. Right here, everybody's expecting it to break. Everybody's looking for buys. Everybody's looking for this high to be broken. But the way that the market works, it don't always, give you what you kind of expecting at the current time. It usually fakes people out, builds up liquidity, cause people to step away from their positions, or cause people to get tagged out, stop loss hit on their positions, um, in order for the market to be able to make more money. Um, Another thing that also shows me that we potentially are going big bullish is look at how price action pushed right up in here. You don't really see any bearish candles from this price action that pushed to the top side. Right up in here, you got a little bit here and a little bit up here, but for the most part, all of this is big bullish price action. When you look at this little price action that's currently going on within the market as you came into Thursday and Friday of last week of market close, it's very choppy, push, pullback. This is what I call corrective price action. This is what I like to see after impulsive moves, whether they're going bullish or bearishly. Simply because what this means is we, just think of it as like if you were a runner, you know what I'm saying? You out in the streets and you beating your feet on the concrete and you trying to get active. Well, sometimes you run as far as you can run, then you take a little break. You know what I'm saying? You start to consolidate on the streets, on the treadmill, on the track, wherever you at. And then once you get your oxygen back right, you take off running again. Then you kind of consolidate. Well, sometimes, you know, you set PRs or you get to a level where you've never been. So you're like, oh, I hit my personal best. Now I'm gonna just, I'm gonna chill for a little bit for these next couple of days. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna slowly but surely, I'm gonna keep training, but they're gonna be slow and surely until I get back to where I feel like I'm 100%. Then I'm gonna take off on their ass again and break my new PR and get new records and go different or higher mileage. So yeah, I just kind of see this as a slowdown phase, a retracement phase, a pullback phase where price action then expanded and impulse so many times, so far, so big ranges that now we just currently but slowly but surely gonna retrace back into one of these supportive levels and then roll back over bullish. Now, because of the way I identified it, because of the way I put my analysis on the chart, I don't immediately want to take trades based off of what I have here on the chart. What I do is let price action come to these levels that I have identified on the chart. And then based off of the price action that takes place or produces once price action touches them to my levels, is how I generally base a trade. So if price action breaks through for a structure back to the downside, then we would need to readjust. Meaning, if we close below here, then at that point, I am starting to pay attention to structure most recently broken imbalances, looking to see if price action is coming back to fill this daily imbalance way down here before getting back bullish, all those type of things. So it could be a big bearish week. Just as much as we went big bullish, we could come all the way back down and go big bearish. But what we pay attention to is if that does happen, the thing that we have to, the thing that I key in on is as long as we haven't broken this daily low, then for me, in my eyes, price action is still remaining bullish, creating higher highs and higher lows. Um, the other thing that we identified on the charts here, let's see here, expecting price action to continue bullish around Tuesday or Wednesday, waiting for the 15-minute to flip back bullish unless we break through 4-hour structure first. So like I said before, this blue line area here that I got identified, that's one of my areas of interest from the 15-minute time frame. So I am looking for price action to come down into that level and potentially roll over bullish. If it doesn't, then I got some more waiting to do. It could be potentially the London session. It could be potentially the New York session. I might not be on the charts, but when I do come back for tomorrow's Asian session, what I'm looking to see is what did price action do once it hit my levels? Did we come back here and fumble with the keys? Did we come down here and fumble with the keys? Did we break through this level and get down here and fumble with the keys? What did it do? What is it showing? How is it showing me where price action really wants to go? And that is how I take advantage of the markets and get active and get where I'm trying to go. So last week, we caught a lot of these buys. If you didn't catch the compare and contrast that we dropped on Thursday or Friday, I can't remember what day it was, but it's out there. Yeah, we outlined a lot of these trades, show how we got in, show where we the things that we identified as far as what gave us the gas to show us price action was getting ready to take off. And these are the things that I point out now that potentially on Thursday or Friday of this week, when I make that compare and contrast, these little levels that I'm identifying now is what helps and shows me how to get active within the market. So for the most part, we bullish on the daily, bullish on the 4H, currently somewhat bearish slash retracing on the hourly, and the 15 minutes also bearish. So, like I said, from the notes that I dropped from this morning, where's the note sheet at? I'm waiting for the 15-minute to flip back bullish unless we break through this 4-hourly structure first. And at that point, if we break through that 4-hour support, then we got continuation sales, which are break and retest trades. Do we want to see price action do its thing, come down here, break this level? At this point, once we retest into this area, then potentially could line up some shorts back into the structure most recently broken, or even back down into this imbalance we got filled, needs to be filled right down here. So we gon' see. That's AU. Clicking over to UJ. Now UJ, I think I might come out busting and banging on UJ tonight, depending on what really happens as we open up. Um, like I was speaking on these past few previous weeks, was kind of stuck in the middle of should I be identifying the range from the high to the low, making us bearish on the higher time frames, and this all be a retracement pool or retracement type action, or should be because we had the breaker structure here now with the retest of the low or the pullback and then expansion again, should we be identifying bullish? Well, seeing as how price action tapped into this little imbalance we got identified right over here on the left hand side and came and reacted bearish and broke structure on the daily time frame, I'm gonna go with we should be tracking, or we should be following price action in a bearish manner to see where we're gonna go, what levels we're gonna push into, and where price action is trying to get to. So on the daily, we are identifying bearishly from the high to the low. Everything in between will be retracement slash pullback activity, and then we're looking to see where we can possibly build the best bearish scenario to take trades to the downside. Now, the 4 hour, it's a little shaky. Why is it a little shaky? Because I don't really have a clear level to identify as far as this is a significant 4 hourly high to where price action could pull back and then possibly leak off again. So what we're for the most part trying to do is track price action based off of what the hourly price action is giving us until we pull back deep enough to where I think okay, price action is now about to make the big move. Like this is the big move that kind of popped off last week. So right now, from the high to the low, 4 hourly, I don't really have a level just yet. And then on the hourly, what we can see is we were coming down, making lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs till we got down here. Ultimately, the previous lower high area should have been somewhere right up in here, all the way down into here. And then we have price action pulling back, um, retesting this area right up here at the top. Now, based off of that, when we look at that price action from the 4 hour time frame, what we got is same thing from the high to the low, lower high, lower low. Price action really never closed above this little 4 hourly high right over here. So ultimately, we could identify this range here as our 4 hour time frame with price action for the most part already retesting that 4 hour level, which is right up in here. Come on. Ooh, I hope I hit the record button because I am not starting over. Oh, did I hit the record? Yes, we did hit the record button. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, so for the most part, I am seeing that now. We could be identifying that as our 4 hourly level with price action pushing, breaking and retesting that area right over here. We got a bullish candle here that did not break the high, and then we have a bearish candle that did kind of wick up and push above this 4 hourly high, but it did not close above, and that is key vital information as to whether we should be starting out the week looking for bearish moves or bullish moves. For me, ultimately, because we did close the way we did, my psychology and the way that I've been following the charts tells me that I should be potentially looking for continuation shorts on UJ. And then when you go down to that hourly time frame is where things get tricky simply because we did push above. Here's that high right over here. We never closed above that high. We only wicked through it. So for the most part, I'm identifying the hourly support to the hourly high as in this range. And then once we close below this little hourly support here, potentially we could have more confluence to say, we're looking for now break and retest action of this little supportive area within the market that potentially could take shorts back into the lows and even see continuations below that level coming down this way. So yeah, UJ right now is, pushing into supply for the most part on the 4 hour and the 1 hour time frames. But it also is at a point where the bearish potential in the market has been so far expanded slash extended to the downside right here, that we could see retracements back to the top side first. So based off the notes right over here, didn't close above hourly structure, didn't close above structure here on the 4 hour right here. So we don't want to forget that. Could very well continue bearish from here. We got the daily identified as bearish, the 4H is bearish, the 1H is ranging. And the 15-minute being bullish. 4H or not a valid 4H level created just yet. We will start the week off tracking on the 1 hour. So yeah, I really want to stick to the analysis as far as uh tracking on the 1 hour, and then just seeing right up in here you do have some structure slash being created slash broken on a 15-minute time frame. No, it is not the strongest confluence within the market, so I would not put, bet the whole house full risk anything based off of these structures on the 15-minute. But once certain levels start to be broken, then I can start to see, okay, if we come down and start breaking lows right over here, breaking through supports, then maybe we're not going back bullish. Maybe I should be waiting for the best bearish scenario to possibly retest this low right down in here, or potentially continue right through it. And then if we do get a push from, like we got market open right now, price action to push above this level right over here, then stay close above, actually get a body close right up here, not no damn wick. Come back and retest the level that we just recently broke, most recently broken, then get back up out of there. Then we could be formulating and say, okay, well, now we really got some confluence to say price action does want to go back bullish. Price action does want to probably retrace all of this price action that just pushed us to the lows, ultimately to then, push back into supply, get the fun with them keys, and then leak, and then finally break through that low that we're sitting at right now. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting week. Psychology is what's gonna have to lead you the way, simply because the structural areas that we generally like to pay attention to aren't necessarily as clear on UJ, seeing as how price action just leaked last 2 weeks and didn't really, really create any higher time frame structure. Yeah, you got some structure on a lower time frame that you could key into, but generally, when you're trying to catch the trade and trying to be on the right side of the market, it is very key and important to be paying attention to them higher time frame structures. Hold on one second. So, right now, I think I already said this, but daily bearish, 4H bearish, 1H ranging. A 1 hour time frame is the only thing that I saw when I was analyzing this that I was like, I don't know if I like the way we got that identified. The thing that I was looking for, or the thing that I was looking at, was high, low, lower, high, lower, low. On the 1 hour time frame, lower high area, lower low. Then we pulled back. So I do see a break of structure here on the 15-minute chart. So ultimately, this 1 hour support should be something like down here. And then your hourly range is from this high to this low, rejecting higher time frame structure. So now, if we see price action close below this low support area on the 15-minute, this intraday time frame structure down here on the 15-minute, potentially we could start to line up some shorts back into that 1 hour support, and then even further if it continues below that level. So we got a lot to play with. We got a lot to look at. And when you break out of higher time frame structures or higher time frame ranges, higher time frame zones, I like it that I like price action when it does that more, so because you have a lot of different scenarios you can put on the table. And then once price action lines up with that scenario that resonates with you the most, get active, hop in that market, catch them pills, baby. So that's UJ. Pushing over to UCAD. UCAD from the higher time frame on down. UCAD was a little shaky as far as identifying structure. Um, why? Because when we look back at price action all the way back from September of last year, we see price action making higher highs and higher lows. This was the last pretty much significant higher low area that created the higher high on the daily time frame. And what we generally look for is price action to fill that range. So from the low to the high, we're waiting for the most part, price action to come all the way back down into support slash demand that created the new high. And we just haven't really done that yet. We did create a little bit of a bearish trend as far as price action coming back towards that level, but we haven't really tapped into that area just yet. So I say the structures are a little shaky because of how we have the daily time frame identified. Last week we had from this daily high to this daily low. Price action started to pull back, and then it broke through that daily low. So now we are identifying from this. We're calling this as our daily high, and this is our daily low. What I do see here on the daily time frame is we didn't come all the way deep back into the supportive slash demand area within the market that caused price action to shoot to the top side. So I do think we're gonna come down one more again. Um, what makes it shaky is because you got this big ass bullish candle right here. engulfing the previous candle, which is generally a sign that price action probably about to get back up out of there in a bullish manner. I don't know. I sound real low for some reason lately. I might need a new mic or something because what the hell going on? But yeah, so that's why I say marking the structure is somewhat shaky because right here we get this big ass impulsive moves, but we didn't really tap into anything looking left as far as a support or a demand or anything that I would identify to say, okay, well, yeah, I see why price action reacted that way. It just tapped into supply, it just tapped into demand, it just tapped into order block. That's why it is responding that way. But when you jump down to that 4 hourly, based off the daily, we're identifying from the high to the low. Here's that big ass bullish responsive candle that didn't really tap into anything looking left. That candle of where we want price action to come back down into that little area we saw on the daily time frame, we got identified with this imbalance area here. So we were kind of expecting price action to leak off one more time and tap into this area, then give us a big bullish candles like we seeing right from over here. So right now we're identifying the daily is bearish, the 4H is bearish, the 1 hour is bullish, and the 15-minute is bullish. Generally, when you have higher time frames pointing in one direction, lower time frames pointing in a different direction, uh, bullish versus bearish, that's generally how you get chopped up in the market, thinking that the lower time frames is really giving you the gas, when it's the higher time frames you should be paying attention to and following that price action structure. Structure is a little shaky. Identifying the higher time frame based off the daily structure could be looking for the next lower high. So because we created this high or lower high, so to speak, to create this new lower low, I can understand why price action pulled back like this, why we created this big ass bullish candle. Because if we're following higher time frame structure format, we got the high to the low, lower high, lower low. We should be looking for the next lower high. So potentially this could be the start of that retracement phase. It just looks really pretty for bullish reasons. If price action opens the week and breaks this level, could be looking for an imbalance field to the downside or a retest of structure most recently broken. Oh, that's on lower time frames. But on the 4 hour time frame, identifying from this high down into the low, don't have the low identified because it's in the same exact spot as the daily low, daily support, daily supply area. When you bump down to the hourly, what we got is the high to the low, lower high area. You could say lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high on the 4 hour time frame. This is the hourly, so that wouldn't make sense. Go back to the 4 hour. I don't want to confuse nobody. So as we look at price action pushing up here, this is the push up from the high to the low, or from the low to the high. We came all the way down. So I wouldn't count or start tracking price action on a 4 hour time frame until price action breaks through this low. So we got the high all the way down to this low that broke structure looking left. So that's why this area here is identified as the lower high that broke through the structure that created the new lower low. So currently retesting back into a previous 4 hour resistance class 4 hour demand. So now we're looking to see what type of reaction do we get now that we have touched into this area right here where price action leaked off from last time. So that's where this little note came from here. So if we break through this little 15-minute support right over here, I am expecting price action to come all the way back down to the structure most recently broken and or fill that imbalance that we got right down here left behind on the hourly time frame. So at this point on UCAD, probably could be looking for the best bearish scenario, but because the hourly is bullish and the 15 minutes bullish, you're gonna have to be careful and see what price action really want to do. See if where it really wants to give you the gas. For me, I'm looking for shorts below 1.32040. If price action closed big or big bearish below 132 1.32040, I will be looking for shorts back into the structure most recently broken down here at 31 about 400 level. 31,380 level, and then probably hop out the market because price action could get swirly on you at that point. That's UCAD. Pushing over to GU. Now, GU kind of did me the same way all the other charts did. I did have some issues as far as which level I wanted to select as far as price action for my higher time frame levels, which levels I'm expecting price action to respect, or which level I'm expecting price action to break through. For the most part, we're tracking bullishly on the daily 4 hour time frame as we make higher highs and higher lows right up in here. I'm identifying this area right here around that 1.29040 as the 4 hour support that pushed up and gave you the 4 hour resistance up at the top side there. We bumped down to the hourly. The hourly is about shaky like AU was as far as identifying the structure here. We did have a small break of structure here on the 15-minute chart with these candles right up in here, but not really a significant break of structure like you see here. Right here, price action is giving you nothing but higher highs and higher lows, nothing but higher highs and higher lows. Then when you get to this point right here, we leaked and broke all of that structure looking left. So this is where I can easily identify 4-hour support to the new 4-hour high right up in here. Generally, what we do is look for structure breaks on different time frames to kind of confirm these areas of where price action should respect slash react from. But right over here, like I said, you don't really get that break of structure on a 15-minute real cleanly. This level right here is identified as 1-hour support simply because price action consolidated from here. We broke out, retested, and got up out of there. So um I wish I had a different name for why I want to identify this level, because it being a 1-hour support would not necessarily fit the rules that we have outlined as far as that being a 1-hour support, but it is a level of interest where price action came into, consolidated, broke out to the top side, retraced, retested, and then created a new higher high within the market. So what we was looking for at the market open was to see as price action is making higher highs and higher lows on a 15-minute. Right up in here, we pushed and gave you a high with a higher low, new higher low, and then eventually another new high. Then we started to consolidate and started to come back into that level. So if this level right here on the 15-minute gave us the gas to create this high, when we come back into that level, potentially we should see the gas to go higher again. If we don't, then it's the point where we start looking to see, okay, well, shit, this level didn't hold up to give me the gas to the top side. Where else did price action kind of consolidate slash break and retest and then get back up out of there to create higher highs? And we say higher highs at this point because price action is in a bullish manner. If we were going bearish, then we'd be doing the same thing, just, looking for lower highs to go lower low. So at this point, with price action creating the 4-hour range, somewhat of the hourly support. First 15-minute support we're looking to has somewhat already been broken. I don't think price action has closed below. I think we just wicked through that level. But for the most part, I'm waiting to see now if price action closed below this little first 15-minute level. What do we do when we get back to this next 15-minute level? Do we get down here and consolidate? Do we break right through? Do we get the fumbling with them keys and get back up out of there to the top side? Those are the things I'm paying attention to once price action coming to these zones, coming to these levels, and then making my trading decision based off of that. Ultimately, because we big bullish on the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour, I'm looking for the best bullish scenario. So what I like to do is sit back and just wait and watch price action do its thing, let it do a dance, come on around, go in a circle, throw it in the back, throw it in the front. Only when it gets to a level and get to fumbling with them keys in a certain manner to where we start to create higher highs and higher lows, respecting the low that started to move as far as higher highs and higher lows, then and only then will I be interested to be like, okay, let's get in. Let's see if we can retest back into for our resistance slash supply where price action came from and see if we can get something up out of the market. But as long as it's coming down bearish, yeah, now we closing below that first 15-minute level. So theoretically, what we generally do is just go ahead and delete that level. And now we're just waiting on this level to get hit because we've already closed below this little supportive area right here within the market. I'm gonna put that back on for later on, just in case I might need to come back and see something. But for all intensive purposes, this level has been um negated as far as being a support in the area in the market where price action could potentially go back bullish. So ultimately looking for the best bullish scenario on GU. It could be one of the weeks just like on AU where we get nothing but heavy retracements because we was nothing but heavy bullish last week. So definitely keep your eyes out for that as well. Clicking over to GJ, go GJ. I got a lot of notes on GJ for some reason. I think it was because I told myself we was gonna skip. I told the world we was gonna skip, like we did last week, but clicking out to the higher time frames on DJ, starting off with that daily. I'll go ahead and blank everything so we can kind of see. Based off of the daily, what we can see is price action is just big bullish, just bullish, bullish, bullish. One of the things that I noticed as soon as I came to the charts and then blinked it just like this is we were bullish. Higher high, higher low, higher high. We already broke previous higher low within the market. So what does that tell me? That price action might want to go bearish. Generally, if price action is bullish and we're making higher highs and higher lows, price action is going to respect higher lows and not break through them and continue the trend to go bullish. When you start to see price action break higher time frame structures, this is the daily chart, daily time frame, meaning that it took a long time for price action to push all the way up here and a long time for price action to come all the way back to that level. And now that we broke through that level, potentially we could see some more retracements to come back to find a supportive area within the market to then push us back bullish. So when we bring the analysis back based off the daily, because of the way we broke structure looking left, we got the higher high to the higher low area to the new higher high on the daily time frame. And as we bump down to the 4 hourly time frame, we see price action breaking through most recent higher low with last week's price action, and then we kind of started a retracement phase. So for the most part, the 4 hourly resistance is all the way up top here, all the way down until we broke structure looking left. So we got the high to the low, and right here, all this price action in between, it couldn't be considered as what we call retracement type activities. Only we can only confirm that once price action that came and showed us what it wants to do, where it wants to go. But when you when you watch the market long enough, and you stick with certain charts, certain I wouldn't say certain patterns, but certain charts, certain structure activity, then you already kind of know based off of what it already given you what it's about to do. So 4 hourly is bearish from the high to the low. We bump down to that hourly. What we can see is we started somewhat bearish activities as lower lows and lower highs looking here. And like midweek, Wednesday, Tuesday last week, we started to push bullish. Not really, well, we did kind of break a structure right over here, but we did start to formulate bullish structure on the hourly chart only because we started pushing higher, higher low, higher high. So next thing we should be looking for is a new higher low based off of the hourly chart. So what I'm looking for to see is this, current bullish activity on the 1 hour chart going to take us to retest that 4 hour high right up here slash daily high? Or do we come down and just continue to break through structure looking left and continue to push out lower lows and lower highs because the 4 hourly is bearish? So right now, what I kind of got identified is you can kind of delete a lot of this shit because it's just in the way. But when you tracking price action from last Wednesday, we pushed up and created a high. Then we pulled back here, and then we made a new high. The structure that was most recently broken is right here, identified in the blue. And if you see this gray candle right here on the 15-minute, price action was doing higher highs and higher lows, and it flipped over and started doing lower lows and lower highs and tapped back into that structure that was most recently broken right over here. Now, generally, if price action was going to get the gas from retesting the structure of where it just came from, then generally we should have already rolled over and resumed back bullish. But since we tapped into it with this wick here and did not break structure looking left, that kind of gives me insight to say price action is possibly going to come back down and start the week off bearish. Now, if we don't get something as simple as like a wick fill right up in here for this big ass wick right here, then potentially I am definitely expecting price action to break through this level at 181, like 480 to the low side of 181. What was that? 181, about 480, all the way down to about 181, 380. So about 100 pip range. We're looking for price action to break through to potentially come back and retest potentially supply area or demand area on a 1 hour time frame. And we just completely forget about the demand area. We just looking at the hourly range from the low to the high, seeing if we can get a retracement within this range. This is the high, this is the low. Seeing if we get retracements back into that area to come back and retest the low, the support area, the demand area, and then potentially resume back in this bullish manner as higher high, higher low, higher high, new higher low to then give you a new higher high to potentially retest higher time frame structure. Right now, we in the middle of the range. We don't really have no guarantees on anything just yet because we haven't touched into any of the levels. Right now is the time we sit back and let price action do whatever it want to do until it get to our level. So the first level we're gonna be paying attention to is structure most recently broken. Even though on the lower time frames, like on the 15-minute, I do feel like we pushed up, broke this structure here, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, came back to retest. Structure most recently broken. We did not create the new high, so that's why I feel like price action could roll over and come back down to the downside, retesting this 1 hour support, or even breaking through and continuing 4 hour structure to continue to go bearish to eventually come all the way down to retest potentially daily support slash demand all the way down here. So there's a lot of things as far as trading where you have to come to the charts and read the charts and see what it's telling you, see what kind of gas and information is giving you, and then getting active based off of that. So right here we got some notes we didn't already put down. We definitely want to wait to see if this respond break structure back to the top side. And what I was saying here, or what I was meaning by that is we tapped into or we created daily resistance right up here. Then we rolled over, started going bearish. And then we came down, found support within the market, and we rolled over and started going bullish. So high, low, higher, high. We're looking to see if this high, low, higher, high comes back down, respects the low, and then push back up to retest highs. On the lower time frames, 15-minute, 1 minute, 15-minute, 30-minute, hourly. We're looking to see right here Since price action broke up and broke above this hourly structure here, we already retested and didn't create a new high. So we're looking to see. We already retested structure most recently broken and didn't break structure back to the upside. Could definitely see more bearish price action. Weekly price action did tap into an imbalance area looking left. The reaction did cause a breaker structure to the downside. Could definitely see more bearish price action this week. Then we got the daily identified as bullish, the 4 hour is bearish, the 1 hour is bullish, and the 15 minutes bullish. With that weekly time frame, I'm gonna just point that out real quick. I don't know if I did when we started, UJ, but when you go ahead and you blank the charts and you look at all this and you say, okay, well, if we should be identifying from the high to the low retracement activities and uh waiting for the next lower low. Where's that breaker structure? I saw it early. Okay, yeah, right here. Well, I did identify that. Yeah. So this was the imbalance right over here. We tapped into it. And then with current price action, as we were making higher highs and higher lows, the higher low right here got broken with last week's price action. So that's why I wanted to identify real quick um, what I meant with this note right over here. So we gonna see. First thing we pay attention to, like I said, structure was recently broken. If we break through there, then potentially we got a 78 to 80 pip range back to the downside where we potentially could get active too. Yeah, and then we can just go from there. All I need is one shot. Like I said, all I need is one mic. All I need is one shot on UJ or GJ. 80 pips, that's enough. I don't need one trade per week on GJ because that ain't my main squeeze. AU is my main squeeze. That's why I like to take multiple positions, multiple trades, and get active a lot on AU. But GJ, I just need one lineup, one confluence, one read, and I'm in there like swim weather. Last but not least, we got Mr. Gold. Pretty much on gold, I like the analysis that we have from last week, so I didn't really erase it. I kind of erased where we got in at, things we were looking for to see where price action was really going. Based off of the notes, still haven't grabbed rest of the liquidity looking left, which is right over here with all these highs in a relatively equal manner right over here. Rest of liquidity right up in here. Could still go bearish due to 4H being bearish. We did not do a top-down analysis on this as far as showing it to you, but I did previously. The 4 hourly time frame identifying from the high to the low is somewhat bearish. The daily is identifying bullish. If/when price action breaks 4H bullish structure, price action then would be back in alignment with daily structure, and we should be looking for the best bullish scenario. So because the hourly has formulated and started to produce bullish structure, I do kind of see a bullish flag pattern right here, meaning price action push up, starts to consolidate, bounce around, pull back, and then get back up out of there. So what I'm looking at is this little channel that I got identified in the purple here. And what I'm waiting for is price action to pull back into the structure most recently broken, or come back to do an imbalance fill right down here based off this little 1 hour imbalance, get the formula with them keys and potentially get up out of there back to the top side. At the very least, to retest for our resistance slash supply, or feel this little imbalance, and then potentially see what price action wants to do as far as if it wants to go and resume higher time frame structure. Ultimately, there's a lot of different directions I see where gold can push, but right now we're kind of stuck within this 4 hourly range. And yeah, I'm just waiting to see what price action gonna do. I'm saying, when it pull back, does it hold up at my structure most recently broken from the 15-minute chart, or does it come all the way back down to the imbalance field we got right down here? Does it break through 1 hour support and come back to retest 4 hour support, or even continue to go downside? We don't know just yet, but we're gonna see. When the price action starts to develop throughout the week, that is when we are able to make these decisions to say, yes, let's get in. Why? Because we prepped over the weekend. We thought about all the possible scenarios that could play out, and now we about to get active and get paid up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, outside of that, I think that's all I got for y'all lads. I appreciate you for tuning in, especially if you made it to this point in the video. A lot of people be out within 5 to 10 minutes. People got short attention spans. A lot of people don't really want to learn. They just want to see if you're giving out free signals. Yes, I'm giving out free signals because I'm showing you places where you potentially get active from, like I did last week, and how we got active in yeah, where we took over the market at last week. Like I said, we didn't have the biggest lot sizes at this point in life. At this point in life, I got about 500 kids. I got a lot of things I got to pay for. So I ain't really trying to, put in the biggest lot sizes because I got to be relatively conservative. Because simply I got a lot of places, a lot of avenues where I got to direct my cash and where I got to spend it at. So as I got this account with my own funds, my own cash, put in my own dollar bills. And so yeah, I'm gonna try and grow it considerably, not too fast, but also not too slow. But I put up the Telegram real quick to kind of show. So these are the analysis from last week where we identified certain levels within the market where we said this is what we are looking for on a weekend analysis to potentially show us throughout the week. Once price action hit those levels, this is the areas we're going to execute from. So these are the before pictures on gold. We said if gold came back to this little blue line we had now, like at 1918, 1919, then we was going to get active on some buys. Unfortunately, I was cooking and more cooking on AU that I forgot about gold. I forgot about these levels. I didn't come back to them levels until the end of the week. And I was like, oh, I forgot to come back and check these charts. But when you in the market and you cooking and you getting active, a lot of times flipping over to them other charts ain't really worth it because you have such great entry, such great execution rates on the chart that you currently own that you really got active and you really took over on the market, took over in the market. So the before on UJ, we was looking for a pullback last week. During the week, once price action started to pull back to my level, I was able to put in my buy limit from the area I was looking for to pull back to. Unfortunately, it didn't come and it didn't put me in. It missed, and then it took off to the damn downside. It took off to the downside. So we was looking for the pullback. We got the pullback. It just my entry was a little bit higher than where I wanted price action to pull back to, and then it leaked to the downside. And once it started leaking, I wasn't trying to hop in after that because I want the sniper from the top or from the bottom. And then it kept going. It's all the way down here somewhere now. You know what I'm saying? So um identifying what you need to identify on the weekend, missed on UJ right here, and coming to the charts and saying, okay, well, this is potentially why I think price action is going to get active from. Even on UCAD, we was looking for buys. I said one of the things that kind of made me nervous about the buys was we broke structure on the hourly back to the downside. So generally, we should be looking for continuation shorts. On UCAD, let's show you the after. We on UCAD. Retracing UCAD, yeah. Like I said, we came down. We was looking for the buys, but we was afraid of really, putting a whole bunch of risk on the table for the buys because we saw the close below structure looking here. And then as you can see as a result, it kept going bearish. Why did I think it kept going bearish? Because we broke structure on the hourly. We was looking for the deeper retracement back into 4-hour support. And then exactly what we have 4-hour support drawn in at, we did get a bullish reaction, but we didn't break structure looking left. So we should have been looking for continuation short. I only took the one trade on Monday or Tuesday, but once that one got trailed out, I was like, okay, well, I'm going back to AU. Last but not least, let me pull up AU from the beginning, and then we can show how we got active throughout the rest of the week. So AU last week, we was looking for pullbacks to go bullish. We were targeting this little imbalance field right over here, and then even possibly even higher up to the daily level resistance / supply area. This was the before, and then we come all the way down throughout the week, all the way throughout the week, taking trades, taking more trades, even more trades. This was the end result. So we got the level we was looking for price action to pull back to. We had all this stuff identified from the weekend analysis, coming back for the imbalance field based off of the daily and the 4H and the higher time frame confluences. And just, we opened up the market bearish, we hopped in the shorts, and we rolled over, got the fumbling with them keys, and we started going bullish. We broke hourly resistance. So then we look for the break and the pull, the push and the pullback, the break and the retest. Didn't necessarily take this break and retest setup simply because I had already shot like over here on Sunday open. I think I had like 2 positions open. On Monday night, I had 3 positions open. Tuesday night, I opened up with 2 to 3 positions up here. Wednesday morning, I hopped in 2 positions right over here. So by this time in the market, I was like, okay, I'm gonna slow down just a little bit, just to let the market breathe, let it show me where I really want to go. When it kept going bullish, it kind of, like I said, it showed me where it wanted to go. Up here, I had 1 loss because I thought we was gonna retrace a little bit. Then I hopped in 2 wins and pushed all the way up into the imbalance field, all the way up at the top. So it is crucially important that you come to the charts on the weekends or anytime before the market opens again. See what price action did for you the previous week. See where you think price action is going to go, and then execute based off of what you have analyzed over the weekend. Now that's really all I got for y'all. That If you like to join the Telegram group, it is free 99. I say free 99. It is where I drop my daily analysis and where I think I'm gonna get active from, how I think I'm gonna get in. Right now we got a couple of people in the group. It did start off at a higher number, but some people, they found their way and they got up out. This ain't necessarily a group for you to come in and stay in forever. Because like I said, I don't give out signals, but I do give out signals because I show where I'm gonna get in and where I'm gonna execute from, where I'm thinking price action gonna go, or what I think I'm about to be able to hop into the market and get busy with. But other than that, that's all I got for y'all. Last market already open. It's already 6 o'clock. I got to get back to AU and find me some areas within the market where I think I'm about to get active from, and then we gonna see. But outside of that, like I said, if you made it to this far, within the video, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hit that button for your breath. I'm out of that thing. Peace. The bottle of hell grease. Ooh.